Hey everyone, welcome to this, whatever this is. My name is Connor Farrell. You can call me TC. I'm joined by my brother.
Hello. Hello. It's me.
What is your name?
I'm Brendan,
Sorry,
also known as TCJ.
TC Brendan Farrell, TCJ, from the crap part of Gainesville. I shouldn't do that. That's someone else's bit.
Yeah. It's also not. It's not really the crappy part of Gainesville. There are much worse spots in Gainesville
Well,
to be in.
we'll figure out that bit. So we're gonna try this, whatever this is. We're gonna talk some hockey because we think it's fun. Thought people might want to hear. I don't know.
I mean, what
Maybe
else do we
not.
do?
Maybe we're full of ourselves. I don't know. So today is July 1st. Happy New Year.
Okay. Happy Canada
Hockey
Day.
New Year. Oh yeah, Happy Canada Day.
Happy
too.
Canada Day. That's what I thought you were going
I'm
with at
sure we've got a
first. Holy
huge
smokes.
Canadian crowd.
All right. Let's
But it's
talk
the
some hockey.
NHL New Year, Brendan. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were getting
That's
at.
what I was going with. Roll with it. Anyway, July 1st, NHL New Year, but that also means free agency. That's the big thing that's happened today is
Yes.
free agency, free agents everywhere. So where do we want to start?
Yeah, that is a good point. Where do
Should
we
we
want
start
to
with the
start?
big one? Should we
Yeah,
start with
yeah. That's a great starting point.
let's the $11.6 million a year contract went to the Rangers because of course he went to the Metro Division. And if he wasn't going to go to the Rangers, he was going to go to the Islanders because of course Metro Division. Artemi Panarin.
Yes.
How was that 7 years?
Yes, Artemi
Yeah,
Panarin
7 years.
signed with the New York Rangers for 7 years, $11.642 million. I heard the Islanders offered, I think, 12 and a half, but he takes a little bit of a pay cut to go to the other side of New York.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't really blame him either. To me, from what I heard, it sounded like it came down to the Rangers, the Panthers, and the Islanders, and now all of a sudden the Rangers have a pretty exciting group of young talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Would you say the rebuild is over?
I would say it's over. I mean, I think they have issues at center, and
absolutely.
The defense is a little shaky, but we'll see. And obviously, Henrik Lundqvist is aging, but they got Georgiev and Shesterkin. I think that's it. Along the way, so, but again, there's a lot of youth and a lot of
Philip
Cheadle.
Philip Cheadle. I
think it's Cheadle.
Philip Cheadle. You say they have no center depth, but come on.
I mean, I don't know. Do they play Capo Caco at center?
No, I don't think that's wise. The kid can't drink yet. How are you gonna play him in a position in a role that's unfamiliar to him?
I don't know.
Play him where he plays best.
I'm just saying he has a history of playing there. I mean,
does he?
Who else?
I've only heard of him as a winger.
He can't. I've heard of him as a winger who can play center. So I guess Joe Pavelski. But oh wait, sorry, that's for later.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Very emotional.
Yeah, but some might say, "Hey, $11.642 million is a lot of money." To which I say,
it is a lot of money.
You use the big money for stars, and you don't overpay on depth.
Yes. Right. Correct.
And I think anytime that you have the opportunity to acquire an elite player like Artemi Panarin, regardless of position, and you don't have to give up any assets other than cap space, I think that's a win for you. Then go overboard and give them like 15 million or whatever the maximum possible number is for NHL players at this point. But I think 11.642 is fair enough. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's if you want Artemi Panarin on your team, that's what you have to pay. Like, you're not going to be able to replace that. And I do kind of like what New York has going right here with that top line, at least. Zibanejad is very good. Buchnevich is very good. And then you slot in an elite scorer, Artemi Panarin. You've got something going there.
Yeah,
now
and I'm sorry, that
Yeah.
alongside with adding Capo Caco this summer,
Yeah.
Jacob Trouba, and Adam Fox too.
Kravtsov is supposed to come up.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the New York Rangers, but we'll see.
But I was having this argument with Vinny.
Good
He
friend.
was saying that they were going to be contenders, or at least playoff contenders. And I was saying, well, they could be a bubble playoff team, but I don't think contender is really the right word for it. And I think my reasoning is they've got really four proven forwards that are good. And then you got Kaapo Kakko, who is good. We don't know how he's going to do at the NHL level. And Kravtsov, who we don't know how he's going to do on the NHL level. And then on defense, you got Trouba as your best defender. And then Brady Shea?
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent group.
It's a decent core, but I just look at it and I say this team isn't. I can't say that they're going to be. I don't think I would use the word contenders in any sort of context other than they can potentially make the playoffs.
Yeah, and the weird thing is they might end up paying Brendan Smith $4.35 million to be a healthy scratch.
Why?
Because they have.
Is that rumored?
It's not rumored. I mean, that's just. I mean, they got Kevin Shattenkirk, Jacob Trouba, Anthony DeAngelo, and Adam Fox on the right side.
But why do they need to pay a seventh for $4 million?
He's already on the roster.
Oh.
Brendan Smith, he's been there for a couple of years now.
Oh.
It's okay. It's the off season for everybody, including us.
I'm sorry. I'm not aware of Brendan Smith.
Hey, I'm aware of all of the AN Brendans in sports right now. So.
Oh, okay.
And the Rangers have two AN Brendans. They have Brendan Lemieux as well. So I think the Rangers have the most AN Brendans per 60 in the league. So.
Okay. So overall,
yeah,
good signing.
Yeah. I would put that. That was one of the few good signings today.
Okay.
I was looking through like the signings, and they were really only like a couple that I was like, hey, that's a good deal. I mean, it's more than a couple. It's like a handful. It's like 4 or 5 that were like, hey, that's a good deal.
Well, you know what? While we're here, let's get right into it. Let's do good, bad, or meh.
All right, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the Panarin one for one example.
I have him as good. Like I said, it's a lot of money, obviously, but you essentially don't have to give up any assets other than cap space in order to acquire an elite player like Artemi Panarin. So that's a good deal for me.
Yeah, I'm right there. Good signing, and I think they've got a nice core there that they can build around. And so that with the rest of that comes building around that core. And if you've got to spend money on Panarin, fine. That's where you want to spend your money. So I'm with good.
Yeah. So let's move to. We'll go with the other big deal on the market that I have a little bit of a hot take on, and that's Sergei Bobrovsky.
Sergei Bubtitsky.
Yeah, signed a 7-year deal worth $10 million with the Florida Panthers. Other than Panarin, he's really seen as the other big fish in free agency. Obviously Bobrovsky's popped up a couple times for the Vezina Trophy. He's never really quite gotten it done in the playoffs until this past year. But he finds a nice landing spot in Florida, who really needed the goaltending help. But I have this as a bad contract.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, so it's a little bit of a hot take,
I think
but
I see. I think I
uh,
see. I think I see the thing. I think I know what you're going to talk about.
yeah, to me, goaltending is one of the most volatile positions.
Mm.
Not just in
Oh,
hockey, it's
yeah, you're
in
right.
sports, and it's so hard to if you believe that you can project goaltending performance. Either A, I want your lottery numbers, or B, you're crazy. And to me, paying big money for goaltenders just is not exactly a great use of assets there. And hey, he's what, 30, 31?
It's 30.
He's 30.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to harp on, is that he's 30 and he's got it's off cap friendly. I don't even know how long it is. 6, 7 at least.
It's 7 years.
7
10
years.
million. Yeah, 7 years, 10
So
million.
he's going to be 37 when the contract expires, and he's got a no movement clause?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, which that also means that they can't expose him. Say in 2 years' time, this deal doesn't work
yeah.
out. They can't
I was
expose
about
him
to
in the
say,
expansion
yeah.
draft. So,
I can see where you're going with that. I'm still going to go with the good because they need a goalie. And if you look at the market, I guess they need a goalie, and it sounds like he wanted to go there. So if you've got both of those things, why not go get the best goalie on the market? Get someone who can steal you quite a few games, even if it's going to cost you in the long run. I think this ultimately will be good, at least in the short term for them. You say goalies are voodoo, but I don't see a whole lot of. I guess this season has been kind of an off season for Bobrovsky, but it's not like they're signing Brizgalov, who you never know what you're going to get. It's a pretty, you're pretty confident with what you're getting in Sergei Bobrovsky at this point in his career. I am worried about the term. But I mean, if you don't get Sergei Bobrovsky, I guess your only other choice for a number one goalie is Robin Lehner.
yeah. And do you think that there's really a $5 million difference between Sergei Bobrovsky and Robin Lehner?
Maybe not $5 million difference.
And here's the other thing: is that they took a goaltender in the first round of the draft this year. Do you really believe that you need
What's his name? Is it Bednar?
A starter? No, it was Spencer Knight.
Spencer Knight. He's not on cap friendly. I'm sorry.
Okay. But is he really going to be? They really need a guy or a starter for the next 7 years when you have a goalie that you feel confident enough about taking the first round already in the pipeline. And what happens? I just talked about the expansion draft.
Yeah.
What happens in a couple years if you think that Spencer Knight is ready, and you're forced to expose Bobrovsky?
No, but wouldn't they have to protect Bobrovsky?
Yeah.
Because there's
sorry,
no
I'm sorry.
clause?
Yeah. So what?
But then Spencer Knight. But wouldn't Spencer Knight fall under the exempt because he's young?
I forget. I'm a little sketchy on the expansion.
Because I know the Flyers
details.
took full advantage of that young player prospect-ish category where they didn't have to spend a protection clause on like Provorov or Sanheim or whoever, because they were prospects that they had cultivated in the NHL. I was like, we're gonna let you guys protect those players without cost.
Well, and here's the other thing about that whole ordeal was that in order to clear enough cap space, they needed to essentially take on the Scott Darling buyout. So that's another asset that they really had to take on in order to make this possible.
$1 million to $2 million there.
Yeah, and also if you look at comparables, I mean, you could argue this was a team friendly deal, but John Gibson took a $6.4 million deal. Is that it? Yeah. Last summer.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna put this in the good category. Um, I'm unconvinced. I do think I get what you're coming at, and I think there are some concerns. So maybe I can be persuaded to put it in the meh. But I feel like with a name as big as Sergei Bobrovsky, you either got to go good or you got to go bad. So I'm gonna keep in the good, and I hate. I mean, the reason I'm gonna stay there is because I think this team is trying to make a push to be at least somewhat competitive. Maybe not contenders, but competitive. They did make a number of other acquisitions today. I remember Brett Connolly, Esiari. Who else did they sign today? They made a few other ones.
That might have been about it, but
No, I know they had four. So there was one more. Bobrovsky was one. No, I don't remember. Anyway, they're looking like Anton Strawman, which is okay.
Yeah, I have that down as a bad one too. But anyway, keep going.
But the point isn't whether or not these signings are good or bad. The point is that the front office is trying to improve this team and get them to a place where they can be competitive now. And that's why I think ultimately this signing pays off for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could also argue that they shouldn't have been rebuilding in the first place because they imploded a couple of years ago. But that's way under the bridge at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go there. All right, moving on.
Good bat, or meh? Robin Lehner. Let's get the other goalie out of the way.
Okay.
Robin Lehner.
I think this is a good deal for Chicago. I don't really understand where Chicago fits into the whole contender, non-contender thing. Because I feel like the Western Conference is just so wide open at this point that it's really up for anyone's taking. But I don't know. I don't mind it. It's a 1-year deal. So if it doesn't go well, you cut ties and you just move on. But Robin Lehner, I think he's a good goaltender. I mean, he's probably the best goaltender that Buffalo's seen in a while. And then last year, obviously, he was really good.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this. I think it's weird that it was the Blackhawks. But
I do also think it was weird it was the Blackhawks.
Because I don't look at that lineup and I think contender, which is, I mean, clearly they think they are contenders because they also added Ryan Carpenter and brought back Andrew Shaw for some reason because they like bringing the gang back together.
They do like to bring the gang back together, and it failed hilariously the last time they tried it.
Oh, and they also added Calvin DeHaan too. And with Corey Crawford's injury concerns, best case scenario, you have a pretty goaltending duo of Corey Crawford and Robin Lehner. Worst case scenario is like, Crawford gets hurt and Lehner isn't good. But then, it's 1 year, so you're out of the deal after that.
Yeah,
so
that's good. I like that. It's 1 year. And Robin Lehner really has had one season where he's been like, I wouldn't say it's his one season where he's good because he did play well in Buffalo. But he had one season where he was the storyline, I guess. And so this is the sort of the prove it deal, if that makes sense. This is we're going to give you 1 year, and then maybe you can earn your next paycheck if you're consistent. But the interesting thing is both the Corey Crawford contract and the Robin Lehner contract run out at the end of next, or should I say next or this year? At the end of the 2020 season, and they will both be UFAs. So that leaves Chicago's goaltending situation in an odd place.
Yeah, I mean, one of the more interesting things, though, is that Robin Lehner's year last year was like the first one where he's really been above 0 and the goal saved above average.
Fancy stats.
No, but I do think that some of that is just from playing from behind Buffalo's defense. Man.
Yeah.
But his high danger save percentage also just wasn't that high. But anyway, I mean, like there are concerns, but I mean, goaltending, it's so hard to project. So I don't mind it. It's fine.
What do you think of? Okay, so if they sign Robin Lehner, they're either going to pay $5 million or $6 million for a backup goalie, depending on who they go with as their goalie number one. And I feel like at this point, Robin Lehner should be their goalie number one. So if we go with that, they'll be giving their backup $6 million. Do you think that's an issue?
Well, I don't know if you're paying a starter $10 million right now. I mean, I guess that's
well,
not
that's
really.
Florida. That's different.
I'm just saying.
That's Sergei Bobrovsky.
No, I mean
that's
it doesn't.
Situation.
It doesn't bother me because one, this is pretty much I guess the team that they were trying to set up, and two, I think goaltending duos are good. The more you get closer to like that 60 games mark, I think the worse off you are. Look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They went with the goaltending or not carousel. It was like a goaltending tandem last year, and it worked out. It paid off for them. And hey, worst comes to worst, you just have two good goalies. I don't mind it. It is what it is. It's fine.
The other thing I want to mention with the whole Robin Lehner situation is there were I felt like there were so many, or not so many. There were a few other teams that were in more of a desperate need for a number one goalie. So I'm looking at Columbus, and I want to say Carolina was probably another team that could use a number one goalie more than Chicago does. So yeah, I was like, well, if Bobrovsky is leaving Columbus, who are they playing? I guess they could go after Lehner, and then Lehner goes to Chicago. I'm like, well, that's not where I expected that to go.
Right. All right. I want to shift. I want to change directions. We're talking about goaltending, so I want to change directions.
Okay. Well, good, bad, or meh?
Oh, I have it as a good. It's a 1-year deal. I don't really see how you can use it as a bad. I'm like, it's fine.
Good. Yeah, it's fine.
I care about it a little more than just putting like a meh. So
yeah, and they can. This is a team that can be competitive in this league. I think we were talking about whether the Rangers were contenders or not. I think you can put the Blackhawks in kind of the same category of kind of rebuilding, but also can contend at least for this season. Or not contend, compete, I should say.
I think that also another scenario is that Chicago's out of it by the end of February, and you ship them off for assets to a team looking for goaltending, like I don't know, Carolina? San Jose, Carolina. There are always teams that need some goaltending help. So
okay. Next up.
Yeah, I wanted to go in a different direction.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the offer sheet to Sebastian Aho, which I think, along with the Timo Meier deal and the Gustav Nyquist contract, I think those were the steals of the day.
Steal. Please elaborate.
So, to me, the market for Sebastian Aho is probably going to be higher than $8.45 billion. I think he's a really good, dynamic young forward. I think his defense isn't that good, but he's just so dynamic, and he's really just what Carolina has needed ever since, like Eric Stahl in his prime. So that fills that hole, and I do think that his market value is going to be higher than $8.45 million, and I believe that all the signs indicated that Carolina is just going to match it, despite the $21 million that's due to Aho over like the first calendar year, I think, or like the first like 365 days of the deal, which might have been intimidating to Carolina, but just in order to show the fan base that you're dedicated to winning again for the first time in over 10 years, or about 10 years. that's obviously something you need to do. And to me, 8.45 is very favorable. I look at that offer sheet from Montreal, and you're like, all right, thank you for doing the hard stuff for us. Yes, I'll sign my name at the bottom, and we'll match this. Easy peasy.
Done. So you like it from both teams?
I would have made it more difficult if I was Montreal. I would have ratcheted it up to the 2 firsts, a second, and a third like tier of the RFA's compensation.
You want it as a 2 firsts.
Yeah, I think you need to get there to even like maybe make Carolina reconsider it. But to me, I don't. If I'm Carolina, I'm probably not even considering the compensation until it gets to the 4 firsts round. But currently, the language of the contract at least made it somewhat difficult for Carolina.
With all those signing bonuses, you mean? Or
yeah,
what do you mean?
yeah, just the amount of money that's due to them. I mean, it's no secret that Carolina is a little cash strapped behind the scenes, but yeah, I mean, kudos to them for making it difficult. But this is just an easy deal for Carolina. And I don't know. I feel like offer sheets are more for teams that are up against the cap, right? Like I'm surprised that they didn't go after Braden Point, or I don't know, maybe Braden Point just didn't want to go to Montreal, or like a Timo Meier or a Kevin LeBanc, or like one of those teams that's just up against the cap and can't really afford to match a lucrative offer sheet. Or even someone like Patrick Laine, who, I mean, after kind of an up and down season, who knows what's going to happen with him. So, but I think they could have done a little better.
Okay. That's good. I do kind of like this deal. At least, Montreal has the picks if they want to make an offer sheet to compensate. Now, the thing I do find weird about this is if Carolina wants to wait a week to get back to them, they can do that. And then Montreal can't really be active anywhere else for a week. Not that I don't. Now that I'm looking at their roster, I don't know if they really need to be that active. Maybe re-sign Joel Armia. I don't know. But the contract they offered would make Aho the highest paid forward on the team, which is worth noting.
I mean, he's the best forward on the team. That's just
yeah. Hey,
if you're the best forward on the team, you should be the highest paid forward on the team.
I meant on the Canadiens. I don't have the.
Okay, well, he would still be the best forward on the Canadiens.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he still would be.
Yeah, so. I think I saw someone on Twitter make this comparison. I think Sebastian Aho is the new Barkov. Now that we have all properly rated Alexander Barkov,
then no longer.
If I see somebody call him underrated one more time, I'm going to scream. But I think Sebastian Aho is the new hip guy to be like underrated or whatever nonsense. But those are just my 2 cents.
Cool. So finally, it's under good.
Yes.
Good. All right.
Let's talk another big deal.
Like big deals.
Yeah. I mean, I figure top of the show. Let's just roll through the big ones. Matt Duchene.
Matt Duchene
to Nashville.
The Predators. Now, the Predators, they cleared room for him. They got rid of PK to make this deal happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really get much in return for PK either. They just kind of got rid of him. So if they don't get Matt Duchene, that trade becomes an issue.
Yeah, and you could also say that Matt Duchene not signing in Montreal is what makes the Sebastian Aho offer sheet a reality. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but that makes total sense. I do like this Matt Duchene deal. He's out. He's the best forward free agent. Well, not the best forward free agent. That would be Artemi Panarin, but he's up on the list if you want centers.
Yeah.
He's the guy that give you the center depth, and the Flyers took the other one that you want. Um, so I like the fit. I guess the thought process is Nashville just decided, we got enough defensemen. Let's clear some space and get some forwards because that's how we're going to win hockey games. And I like that thinking. I like that line of thought, and I think this fit really works well. And I don't think the money is that big of an issue if who you're going after is Matt Duchene. I'm trying to remember. 7 years might be a little bit long for where Matt Duchene is in his career, but I don't think it's that big of an issue. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have this down as a meh.
Okay.
I think it's one of those deals where it's okay for right now, but like 4 or 5 years down the line, you're like, okay, we need to cut loose here. And Duchene has basically jumped from team to team to team over the last 18 months, 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is consistent. Is that for the last time, I will scream this until at the top of my lungs until Matt Duchene's career is over. Is that he's not a top line center, and if you
No, I don't think they're gonna play him like one. They've still got Ryan Johansson.
okay, so you're paying him $8 million. You're paying him $8 million to be your second line center, but like Ryan Johansson isn't exactly an attractive 1C either. To me, it's like a 1.5 A, 1.5 B sort of situation there. And I don't know. I mean, I think Matt Duchene is a little overrated. I think he's
Maybe a
fun.
little, yeah.
I think he's, to me, in the realm of centers. I think he's in the same sort of position as Logan Couture is. It's an easy comparison for me. He's typically seen as a little better than he actually is, and not a top line center, at least to me. And
Well, maybe if he gets settled in one place for more than 2 months, he'll show he's a little bit better than you think he is. Maybe he will show that he's worth the $8 million. I think that consistency goes a long way. I think that's why he wanted the length of the years. Like he wants to be in the same place for once. Is how I'm reading this.
And the difficult thing for Nashville is also going to be next year, where they only have 13 guys signed and only 24.3 million. And one of those guys is Roman Josi. So who might be wanting a significant pay raise after only being paid $4 million.
Right.
So the money's can get a little.
They're trying to win
dicey.
a cup, Brendan. That's next year. They'll worry about it later. They're trying to hold. They're trying to prop the window open.
I'm just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. So to me, it's a meh. It's one of those where it's like it might be okay for now, but I think that has a potential just to be a pretty bad one by the end of it. Last 3 years or so.
I'm gonna give it a good. I like it. I think it's a good fit, and I think if you're trying to win a cup, this is because if they don't get Matt Duchene, what are your other options to fill a giant hole at center? I mean, and you just got rid of one of your better. Well, I shouldn't say that because they've got plenty of defensemen, but you got rid of a great talent in the NHL for little to nothing. I shouldn't say that. They got a couple picks back, but it doesn't. Otherwise, this whole offseason becomes a failure of sorts. So I think this was the move they had to make. I don't think there was a whole lot of other options for them. As far if that's what they wanted to do to address the 2Cs to go into free agency, I didn't see. If Kevin Hayes signs with the Flyers, where else are you going to look?
Yeah, I mean, also like kudos to them for acquiring a top 6 or a top 2 center for in free agency. It doesn't come around very often.
No,
but I'm just not a super big fan of Matt Duchene. I just think it's just too much money over too long a period of time. But all right.
So I think I've given every single one of these a good. So I kind of want to steer this in a direction where I know I'm going to give it a bad. So
Okay.
let's talk about Zuccarello.
Ooh, I thought I was being a little bit of a hot take for calling this a bad one.
I think it's a bad one.
For me, it's not because of the player; it's just the destination doesn't make any sense to me.
That's where I was gonna go. The Wild making this signing with Matt Zuccarello for $6 million. They are basically saying we're trying to compete now. We think we're going to be competitive, and they're not that good. I just you said earlier the West is wide open, and yes, but not for you, Wild.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, first of all, he's already 32, 31.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
Well, he'll be 32 by the time the season starts. But yeah, for 5 years, you're already working the bottom end of that age curve there, and for $6 million for a team that it's probably not it's definitely not a Stanley Cup contender.
No.
Maybe they might sniff the playoffs. But and they also hand him a no move contract too. So
yeah,
good luck with that. And and hey, if in a couple of years it's not going that well, congrats, you just screwed yourself out of exposing him to Seattle. So there's that too.
Yep.
I just don't get it. If it was to I don't know, I don't know why I'm thinking about New Jersey. I was thinking about if New Jersey signed him instead of Wayne Simmons. Sorry.
Why? If New Jersey had gotten him as well.
Yeah, or I don't know. Or like Colorado, right? I would have been like, that's an okay deal. It's probably the term's too long, but whatever, it's fine. But
Zuccarello's good, but I don't know if I'd give him $6 million.
I don't really. I think $6 million is fine. It's just the term that really gets me.
So I'm gonna give it a bad. Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down for me too.
Thumbs down. See, I don't just like everything. There are some contracts I don't like.
See, I was gonna say my problem is I have too many minutes, but
yeah, pick a side.
Oh, hey, speaking of bad contracts, can we just get a quick double thumbs down for Brandon Tanev for 6 years?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 3.5. Well, I guess 3.5.
Why are you giving a bottom 6 player that much term?
That's a good point. That thumbs down.
I mean, the only thing I could possibly imagine would be that he got a shorter term deal with more money per year, and the Penguins just really wanted Brandon Tanev, but that's just a head scratcher to me. And Jim Rutherford continues to go crazy in Pittsburgh, so good luck with that one.
While we're doing quick ones, I'm not going to grade this one. It hits too close to home. I just want to give a quick shout out to Simmer for getting paid finally. He got the earn it deal for New Jersey. I hate that it's New Jersey, but go make money, Wayne.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think $5 million is too much for Simmons at this point in his career, but it's only for $1 million or for 1 year. So whatever, fine. Before we do some quick ones, there's one more I wanted to kind of go over in depth.
Okay.
And that would be yes. Probably number 3 or by some people the number 2 guy on the free agency big board. Joe Pavelski, longtime San Jose Shark, and one of the best American goal scorers of this generation. Honestly, just one of the better goal scorers of this group of players. Heads to Dallas, who continues to get older. I think I saw that they'll have like 10 guys over the age of 32 starting the season. There's always some danger in giving a 34-year-old 3 years. And $7 million a year is a large chunk of change. I have this down as a meh. I think expecting Joe Pavelski to replicate a 38-goal performance from last year is a bit too much. He was shooting over 20% last year, and I think he was like within the top like 25 or 30 in shooting percentage at 5-on-5. That's not happening again. If it goes back to 12.5, I think it's about his career shooting percentage. I think you're looking at like 25 goals. And I guess $7 million for 25 goals isn't bad, but the third year is kind of what worries me a little bit. And the Stars just saying that they're like legit contenders is a little weird too.
Yeah, it is weird, but I admire the moxie. You mentioned how old this team is. If it doesn't work this year, just blow it up anyway. Why not? Go get the guy you think is going to push you over the hump.
Also, we're now in this weird timeline where Joe Pavelski and Corey Perry are teammates.
Yeah, that is weird. I'm going to give the Joe Pavelski signing a thumbs up. Good.
I mean, people compare it to the Marleau deal. Pavelski's a better player now than Marleau was when he signed, and Pavelski's game was never about speed, so I'm not really worried about any of that. I just think it's okay. But out of the miss, I think it's one of the better miss. It's like a good 6.5, 7 out of 10. A nice B-.
While we're on Dallas, Corey Perry, your thoughts?
I mean, you take a shot on recapturing some of his good stuff for 1 year, $1.5 million. It's fine. It's okay.
Wait, let me guess. You're going to give it a meh.
Yeah.
Knew it. I'm also going to give it a meh. He's bad. You don't really want to sign bad players, but I don't see him as playing a big role on this team, and you only have him for a year, so why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at it, I was like, okay, that's fine. It's whatever. You want to roll through some quick ones?
Quick ones.
Gustav Nyquist, 4 years, 5.5 in Columbus. That's a good for me.
Yeah, that's good. Give it a good.
Also on my good list, Jonas Donskoi for 4 years, $3.9 million.
I do like that too. That's good value for him. That's good value for the team, I should say.
I said this was a bad one. Anton Strawman, 3 years, 5.5 for Florida.
Meh. I'll give it a meh. I think they're trying to upgrade their blue line. I think Strawman is generally he's not bad, but he can upgrade. If you slot him in as a second or third pair, it's not going to hurt you. Not at $3 million.
Also on my bad list, which to me this contract is bad, but I think it had the potential to be far, far worse. Tyler Myers for 5 years, $6 million.
Bad. Overpay.
Bad. Big time overpay. But hey,
I was really hoping it was going to be Lou Lamoriello to overpay for him, but it's fine.
But hey, he's 6'6".
He's 6'6". He's big.
He's big.
You know what? I would like to see you argue this one with Vinny. I don't know where Vinny falls in it, but I imagine he's going to say something along the lines of, if you play the game, you would know the value he brings with his size.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure.
I can imagine this is the type of player that Vinny likes, although I don't know for sure.
Okay.
So.
Anders Lee, 7 years, $7 million to the Islanders.
Meh.
Yeah, I'm in the same category. It's a
I mean,
meh.
it's a good talent, good signing. Do I want to give him $7 million? I guess it's not an overpay. It's probably good for both sides. Maybe I should make it a good. But I don't know if we've seen enough of Anders Lee to give him 7 years.
Yeah, my thing was the term's too long for a guy who's like 29, 30, one of those two.
Is he really 29? I feel like he's only been in the league for 2 years.
So he's no. I mean, yeah, the age kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought he was a couple years younger, but yeah, he's right around there.
The age, Jordan Bennington's age surprises me too.
He's what, 25?
He sounds like I think he's as old as Sean Couturier, and Couturier has been in the league for forever.
Huh. All right. What else? We'll throw a couple goalies in here. Mike Smith, 1 year, $2 million to Edmonton.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point in getting? He's a backup goalie. $2 million's fine. I mean, it's.
I am thoroughly whelmed by the Edmonton goaltending duo of Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith.
Yeah, just
very, very thoroughly whelmed.
Just Connor, get out. Just get out. I'm surprised you signed a contract to stay there for 8 more years.
Dude, someone should have offer sheeted him.
Oh man.
Dude, the league would have melted down if that happened. We'd still be talking about it. I mean,
he's going to get traded.
Whoever would have offer sheeted McDavid would get like offer sheets until like I don't know over the next like 20 years.
He's going to get traded to LA and get them a cup when they finally are done rebuilding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that he gets to do the thing that Gretzky never did. So, all right. What else? Oh yeah, the other Alberta goaltender, Cam Talbot, 1 year, $2.75 million to the Flames.
It's the same thought process as that. It's just meh.
Hey, listen, if you're going to sign goalies in free agency, I like the idea of a short term, let alone a 1 year deal. That's fine.
I mean, these are both goalies that have kind of done the musical chairs thing. That's
Hey, now this is only Talbot's third team, right?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Give him a little bit of slack.
Fine.
And I'll round things off with Jason Spezza. 1 year, $700,000 to the Maple Leafs. That's a thumbs up for me.
I totally forgot he was in the league.
I kind of did too, but it was just because he was playing in Dallas, and Dallas has been super boring over the last couple of years.
I'll give it a good. It's less than $1 million for Jason Spezza. I mean, that's good value at the very least. For a year, it's another body. I mean, it's some experience.
He's an upgrade over.
Can be a mentor.
He's an upgrade over Frederick Gauthier on the fourth line in Toronto.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there we go. That's depth for you.
Assuming that William Nylander is going to be the 3C in Toronto moving forward after today's events.
Is he I can't even remember his name now.
Nazem Kadri.
What the heck? Yeah, is he an improvement over Nazem Kadri?
Right, I don't know. I don't know if he's really spent enough time at forward in the NHL for me to really say anything either way.
Yeah, so I guess we're going into these trades now because that's how you segue, right?
Yeah, to add on to that, I'm looking at the cap-friendly page now, and I guess they have a couple other options at 3C with Nick Shore, and it was another good signing by the Maple Leafs today, and Alex Kerfoot. I've always seen him as more of a winger. But
so speaking of Kadri, how do you feel?
Yeah, so I have to find the exact details of that trade because it's still kind of. I'd have to look at it. Let me pull it up for a second. But I think it's kind of a win-win for both teams. I think that the 50% salary retention by the Avalanche on Tyson Barrie is what swings it in favor of the Maple Leafs. But for those who did not see it, the Colorado Avalanche acquired Nazem Kadri, Callie Rosen, and the 2020 third round pick from the Maple Leafs for defenseman Tyson Barrie at 50% salary retained. Alexander Kerfoot for, I guess, the signing rights to Alexander Kerfoot because he's still an RFA.
Wait, the Avalanche retained salary on this trade?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And a 6th round pick in 2020.
Why?
But, the Maple Leafs get, I'm not a super big fan of Tyson Barrie's, but he's still a good defenseman, and he's still a clear upgrade over whatever they had on the right-hand side.
Well,
that's not really saying much. We could put Vinny on the right-hand side over there and it'd be an improvement.
Hey, Vinny played, what was it, junior?
Junior B?
Junior B? Yeah.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
He went to Massachusetts. He got out of this hick town.
And speaking of the right-handed side of the Toronto Maple Leafs defense, their other trade, which got rid of...
Oh, do I not get a...
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Do I not get an opinion on this?
No, I'm just talking over you.
I felt like I haven't said anything worth value in the last 10 minutes. I personally, I'm not a big fan of Nazem Kadri, and I don't really know who Cal Rosen is, so maybe you can enlighten me on that. But I think players that the Avalanche gave up, Tyson Barrie and Alexander Kerfoot, is just better. And I don't really see. I mean, I guess a 3rd round pick is more value than a 6th round pick, but I mean, they're at that point they're both lottery tickets anyway. Yeah, I'm confused as to why the Avalanche would agree to this.
I don't know. I think gives them depth at a position that they needed to have more depth in. They struck out on, I guess you could say it's maybe a little bit of a panic move because they struck out on Artemi Panarin.
Yeah,
despite the amount of cap space that they have. Goodness gracious. But it gives them more depth down the middle. And hey, if you adding more depth down the middle is never a bad thing in my book. So the salary retention is a little weird, and the fact that they had to give up Kerfoot isn't great either. But I don't think it's as bad of a deal as people are saying. And the Avalanche still have Erik Johnson, Cale Makar on the right-hand side of their defense. So I don't think it's like this gigantic steal. Like this isn't Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat. Okay,
no, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I like it from the Leafs side. I just don't like it from the Avalanche. I don't
know. Regular season Nazem Kadri is fine. It's just you cross your fingers and you pray that he doesn't get suspended in the playoffs again. But hey, he doesn't have to deal with the Bruins at least. Unless the Avalanche make the Stanley Cup final.
So does that
Does
that make Kadri the real winner of this trade?
I guess he gets to move away from the pressure in Toronto and just hang out in Colorado. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah. Okay. Zaitsev, Brown, and Carconi for CC Harpur and Luchuk.
Like the whole point of taking on bad contracts is that you're supposed to get valuable assets in return. So either the Senators don't understand that concept, or they really like Nikita Zaitsev for some reason. Neither of which is a good thought process.
I was going to go the other direction with it and say somehow the Leafs downgraded from whatever they had at defense.
I mean, is there really
I don't know,
like a reality? Are they really going to sign Cody Ceci?
No, I don't know. I didn't know his contract was up.
I mean,
so they're just gonna.
That's the only thing that makes it weird to me is that like the analytically inclined team somehow acquired Cody Ceci. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only part of it that I'm like, really, Toronto? But other than
I don't
that,
know. I guess the
they
Leafs.
go ahead. Sorry.
I said I guess the Leafs are the winner of this deal because they no longer have to deal with Zaitsev. But like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, they managed to free up a bunch of cap space for really not much of a cost of like anything. So that works for me. They're big winners in this. Just don't re-sign Cody Ceci. That would be dumb.
All right, we've been doing this for quite some time. One last little bit here, Brennan. I am going to give you some names. I want you to tell me quickly, lightning round style, where you think they will end up. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Marcus Johansson.
Shoot. I'll go with either Colorado or Florida.
Jake Gardner.
Jake Gardner. If Tyler Myers didn't sign there already, I would have gone with Vancouver.
Well, he did.
It's just tough. I'm really bad at this. I will go with Ottawa because I think they just throw money at him to grease the cap floor.
Interesting.
Or Winnipeg.
This is the name that I'm interested to see. Ryan Dzingel.
I'll go with Montreal.
It's another interesting name to me because he can play a lot of different roles, and there's not one particular need that he fills. Michael Furland.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me when you keep throwing these teams at me without really like giving me much of a chance to like look through their needs. Looking at like basically at this point I'm just looking at like the amount of cap space that they have and like throwing darts.
See, this is why it's interesting because you don't get a chance to prepare.
Yeah, I know. We'll go. You know what? New Jersey has some more space, so we'll go with New Jersey.
Oh, fuck you. And just for you, Joe Thornton.
San Jose. That's not debatable.
Those are the interesting ones, I think.
I mean,
assuming
the other San Jose
Justin.
question. The other San Jose question would be Patrick Marleau. I don't know if they fit him in or what.
Oh, Pat Maroon's on here.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he ends up back in St. Louis. I'll go Columbus on that one.
Are we assuming that Justin Williams stays in Carolina?
Yeah. I'll just throw that out there. Sure, why not?
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all. That's all I got. So
that was a lot of stuff that we.
Yeah.
I tried not to take too long, but I feel like we did anyway. If you're still with us,
congrats.
I'm sorry. I guess I feel like I should apologize. Yeah, thanks. We'll have more of this.
We'll try to make this
throughout
like
the month of July.
You know.
Yeah, we'll try to make it a regular thing, and hopefully next time we'll have some sorts of branding. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
All right, you guys have a good one.